Bhopal. He is working as additional professor in the forensic medicine department. He is also deputy medical superintendent at AIIMS Bhopal. He is associated with more than 800 medical legal autopsies, 8,000 medical legal autopsies, expert opinion cases, and other types of medical legal cases throughout his career. And he has more than 16 years of teaching experience in the field of medical education, especially forensic medicine and public health. He has 40 research publications in various national and international journals, and out of that, many are in PubMed Index journal. He is editorial board member and reviewer for many national and international journals, and has 4 ICMR extramural research projects and 2 intramural research projects going on under him as principal investigator and co-investigator. He is a subject expert in NMC for medical negligence cases. He is also in charge of Poison Information Center at AIIMS Bhopal, and his particular area of interest is clinical forensic medicine and forensic radiology. And one main thing, he is recently working on sample preservation, and he has developed a sample dryer, and for which he has also received a copyright from the design officer. So we welcome Dr. Raghavendra.
Thank you very much, sir. So first of all, I would like to thank the organizing team for giving me opportunity to present my work before this August gathering. And I would also like to congratulate the organizing team for establishing the Rajasthan Academy of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology. And I would like to request the organizing team to have me as a member. So kindly accept my membership as well. So in view of recent terrorist attack in Gazapatti, I am linking my Poison Information Center to that information which could be shared by the Mossad to the powerful nation of the Israel. But because of lack of concrete information, reliable information, the terrorist attack could not have been prevented. If we consider the poison as a terrorist and the body as a victim, so terrorist attacks the body, the victim. The body gets exposed to the poison, then body is like a war with the terrorist or an enemy. If we get the right information at the right time, then of course we can defeat the terrorist. So that is the value of the information system which we can provide through the Poison Information System. So I would like to present our experiences at AIIMS Bhopal in establishing the PIC as well as the associated toxicology lab at AIIMS Bhopal. Though Dr. Sahu, Manager Sahu, assistant professor there, was supposed to take a session on toxicology lab, but because of some urgency he could not come. So I will cover his session as well. So information system basically comprised of people as a doctor, the network, the data, so the Poison database we are using, then software. So we earlier used the software Micromedics. Now we have shifted to the toxins database that is from the New Zealand. Then hardware, so computer system. So when I joined at AIIMS Bhopal in 2013, so it was challenged to start the medical legal work there. So in 2017, we were able to start the autopsy work. So we conducted first autopsy. Then we started thinking for the toxicology lab. So we searched out in our map, AIIMS map, that where is the space for toxicology lab. And we found out that space. And then we submitted a detailed proposal to our leadership. And then what we got answer from our leadership that iska kya karega, because it involves a lot of expenses. So I will tell how to proceed to get the toxicology lab. So PIC in Bhopal is first of its kind in central region of India, especially in the Madhya Pradesh. It was started on 10 January 2020, and it is aimed to provide the fast, free, authentic information to the concerned physicians on 24/7 basis. So it is not totally limited to the chemical poisons, but it covers the animal poison, vegetable poisons, as well as the drugs also. So the physicians, the treating physicians who are dealing with the poisoning cases, they can call on the phone numbers provided. So we are not directly sharing the information to the patient or relatives. We are sharing the information to the doctors who are actively involved in the management of those poisoning cases to save the life of the patient. So this is the time when our poison information was inaugurated. So it is basically a specialized unit for providing information on the poisoning to the doctors involved in the management of poisoning cases. This is the picture for our poison information center. So it does not require much setup. So when we got the answer for toxicology lab, क्या करेगा इसका establish करके? So we started thinking on this aspect because it doesn't involve much expenses. So we arranged for the computer, we arranged for the chair, and then we took a subscription from the Micromedics. So it costed around 1.5 lakh. We arranged for the 2 phones, and then we started with the poison information facility at AIIMS Bhopal. So how does it function? So basically it is a phone call based facility. So any treating physician can call on the number. Our resident doctors remain on 24/7 call duty. They pick up the call. They take all the information which is given by the treating physician, and then they put the information on the poison database. So the searching on the database is just like searching on the Google engine. So we are putting the name of the compound, and it is giving, if it is available in the database, it is giving all sort of information about that poison. So if we are getting the name of compound, we can tell what is the exact composition of that compound, because that affects the management. Because many poisons are locally sold in name of various local names. So it is not clear what is the exact chemical nature. So in that way, the poison information center is of very much use. Then the resident doctors note down the doctor's detail who is calling on the poison information center, the patient details about the poisons consumed, whatever the information. If image is available for the vial or bottle, so we ask the doctor to provide the image on the WhatsApp. So we find out the compound and put it on the search engine of the database, and then we get the information. And then information about the antidote, gastric lavas, if indicated, and guiding management, that is shared with the treating physician. Along with that, we maintain the records for our learning as well as to learn from that experience. We get the call, we share the information, and then we maintain the record and we learn from that. So this is the basically Micromedics space. Nowadays we are not using, so it is basically paid. You will have to pay for that, and they will provide the login IDs and password, and then we can access their database. Nowadays we are using this database from the New Zealand. So it is the similar search engine like Google. There are different poison databases that are available, and some are free and some are subscription based, like Intox, Micromedics, Toxways, Toxins, Payment Flow. So there are many such. There are many poison databases. So the poison information center that has been established in Bhopal, AIIMS Bhopal, that is not the only center, poison information center in the country. There are many information centers. They are already working at different places of our country. So anybody can approach any poison information center through the phone call. There is no foundation that a person from the particular region can only call on those numbers. So anybody can call and get the information. So there are PICs at Delhi, Kolkata, Mysore, Vellore, Mumbai, Kochi, Chandigarh, and the others, many more. So I am going to present data analysis of PIC AIIMS Bhopal. So since 2020, when in January it was started, till August 2023, we have received total of 549 calls from all over the country. So initially, the number was given to the trauma center of our AIIMS Bhopal. So initially calls were from there, as the advertisement and the publicity grown, we were receiving the calls from all over the country. So in 2020, we received 68 calls and they are gradually increasing. Until August in 2023, we already received 122 calls. So they are increasing. And mostly the calls are from the southern states like Karnataka, Telangana, then Kerala. Also there are calls from Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. So different regions of the different states of the country, we are receiving the calls. If we see the gender-wise distribution, so mostly the calls they are related to the victim who was male and female number was less. If we look for the age distribution of cases, so mostly the calls were for the pediatric age group of victim. So because in the pediatric age group, the information available is very little. So as soon as the child is exposed to some drug or poison, they immediately call the PIC. What is the fatal dose? What will be the consequence? Whether we should start the management or not. So this fact we have got that in pediatric age group, because of they are more curious to get exposed to something, so it is more common in the pediatric age group. If we look for the occupation wise, so it is more common in pediatric age group. So a student is the most common profession, and after that, because we are agri-based economy, so farmers. And in some of the cases, the information was not available, and we also not insisted. If doctor is saying that particular information is not available, then we proceed further and take other information and share the relevant information. We are not insisted that you share the information, then only we can share the information. So it is not like that. If we see the type of poison-wise case distribution, so from this we can get that we are agri-based economy, so mostly the agrochemicals poisoning are very common. Then therapeutic drugs, metallic irritant. But here this is a misrepresentation of the cases, because mostly the calls are for the poisons for which the information is not available. So these are kind of uncommon poison. From that we cannot guess that they are more common, they are less common. They are the poisons for which the information is not available, that's why we are getting. So mostly the therapeutic drugs for which information is very less. So we are getting calls for that particular drugs or for that particular compound, and we are sharing information if it is available. So there are a number of therapeutic drugs category for which we are getting calls. Then in agrochemical, insecticide, pyrethroids, organophosphates, all out, everything can be consumed, and whenever information is not available with the physician, they do call us. So they are not calling for the common poison, they are calling for the uncommon poisons. So what is the need of PIC? It is required for the early detection, convey and dissemination of the authentic information regarding the poison. If we can develop the contingency plan, so we can be the part, the PIC can be the part of contingency plan, so if there is an exposure to the larger community, in that it can also play the important role from the information from the first-hand informer to the authorities who will respond. So the poison information is not directly involved in the management. It is only sharing the relevant information which is relevant for the management of the poisoning cases. So we need to, that can be nodal point for connecting between the first-hand informants and the rapid response team of the hospital and other authorities. So we have to further strengthen the resources and references which can be used for the quick response. So for documentation and record keeping, we do it both digitally as well as in the hard copy in the register. So you can see Google Form, if time will permit, I will show you in the last how we fill the information of the particular case call which is received over the PIC. Now we are moving one step above. So when we move one step above and we get involved in prevention, diagnosis, management of poisoning, then it is the role of Poison Control Center. So it is the difference between PIC and PCC. So the minimum requirement to become the PCC is to have a PIC system. So we have started from first step, we have established the PIC, now we are inching towards to become the PCC. So poison centers also include a clinical treatment unit and or laboratory that can provide toxicological analysis as per WHO definition of 2021. So initially when we tried to get involved in the management of the poisoning cases, so we faced some kind of resistance from the clinical department or some other specialty who were actively involved. They were saying that is their work. So we found it difficult and we find a solution. So I will discuss how we now get involved in the management of poisoning cases at our institute. In countries like USA and Australia, so most of the cases of poisoning are being managed by the Poison Control Center. Even they are having associations for poison control centers to manage the poisoning cases. Now I am sharing the experience of AIIMS Bhopal in setting up in-house analytical toxicology laboratory. So this is our toxicology lab that is located at the first floor of Mortuary building. It can supplement and add evidential value. We have no doubt. It can of course add supplemental and add evidential value in poisoning cases, in clinical practice, and also at autopsy and to confirm use of alcohol and other kind of drugs of abuse. This provides a qualitative and quantitative approach to write or to maintain to give the reports on our autopsy cases as well. So this is the location of mortuary. On the first floor, we have find out the toxicology lab area. Earlier in MAP it was different. When we proposed the budget of crores, so our leadership changed. क्या करोगे इसका? And they have given the space to some other lab. So we did not get discouraged. We found out another space and we have started that work. So these functions of toxicology lab are being performed at present by the AIIMS Bhopal. So we are performing postmortem forensic toxicology for limited poisons, not for all the cases, in form of screening test only. So here we need to start a confirmatory test. The clinical toxicology is being done. We are getting involved with the other departments. So we are taking support of other departments and getting involved in the management of poisoning cases. Then we are also getting involved in the animal toxicity. We have animal house and there are many experiments which are going on the toxicity of the drugs and different kind of poisons. And there is a pharmacovigilance centers being run by the pharmacology department. So we are also involved in that pharmacovigilance center to study the side effects of the drugs. And then we are actively involved in the interdepartmental academic discussion. And that is making way for us to get involved in the management of the toxicology cases, poisoning cases. So when someone makes a plan, then it sounds very good to have an ideal lab with all kind of facilities together in one go. एक ही झटके में सब कुछ आ जाए. But here we are wrong. We commit a mistake that it involves huge expenses and claimed by others too, other departments as well, that you want to run this forensic toxicology lab, we want to run pharmacological toxicology, then biochemistry department also wants to run. So here there is a conflict of interest. So ultimately what answer we get? क्या करोगे? And ultimately the concept remains in our mind and papers only. So we need to have a menu plan. You will have to develop a menu. What we want to eat, we need to have it and we need to cook it. So there is a need for physical facility and storage. There should be adequate space and area. There is no doubt. There should be proper storage facility because there are a lot of accessories, lot of consumables which is involved in the toxicology lab. So storage facility should be there. There should be chemicals related to the toxicology lab. There are different kind of cabinets for storing the things which are required, and most frequently required is stationery like register for documenting the things. So these are the essential things which can be taken at not much cost. basic instruments and other essentials include like glass layer, digital hot air oven, hot plate, water bath, centrifugal machine, Q mode, wash basin, continuous water supply machine. So these are not costing much. So we can start at least with this. That this is the structure to show our student, and then we are inching towards higher side, so that we can establish basic functioning. Like we can develop our SOPs and procedures, sample collection, sample receiving, with related to sample pre-treatment analysis, quality control, reporting, and documentation. So basic steps can be divided in 3 phases: pre-analytical, analytical, and post-analytical. So in pre-analytical, there is kind of sample collection and sample receiving. So presently we are getting samples from our hospital only, directly through the department or through the police. Then the person, the technician at the lab, our lab, decides whether this sample is acceptable or not, depending upon the maintenance of chain of custody, whether it was maintained or not. The sample is stored for further analysis. Sample extraction is done, analysis is done, sample pre-treatment is done. Then screening and confirmatory test. Confirmatory test we are not applying right now. We are using only the screening test. Then in post-analytical stage, we document the things, we write the report disseminated, information is shared with other departments, and there is a disposal of samples. So sample extraction and isolation setup units should be there within the toxicology lab itself. When there will be no satisfactory sample extraction, the results which we require we will not get. So extraction and isolation of poison from post-mortem sample, that is required, and extraction from different biological matrices like blood, urine, gastric level, because it is obtained in a raw form and we will have to extract what we want to analyze. Then labs should have proper ventilation and fume mode to avoid the toxicity within the department. So now we have started using screening tests. So we are inching forward. We are not a complete toxicology lab yet. We are inching towards to become a fully functional toxicology lab. So because we have started with this, because they are relatively low costing, no major equipment is required to provide result for detection of poisons like chemicals, drug test kits. So we are also doing for the drug abuse cases, refrigerator for storing kits, consumables, standard reference sample, micropipette, UV cabinet, TLC preparation system, Fozilka, and cabinet test. So we have purchased all of them. You can see fumate, hot air organ, hot plate, UV cabinet. Then we have started preparing SOPs, and we are getting it approved through the authority, and then we start the test. So before starting linear chromatography, we have prepared the SOPs in detail, and then we have started. Otherwise, anybody can challenge our result. So we have started, we have framed our SOPs, get it done, approved by the authorities of the institute, and then we started the test. So we are doing the linear chromatography test. So many organophosphate pesticides, they were screened. Then we have started screening for the drugs of abuse cases. So in this, clinical departments are getting involved because other facilities is not available. They cannot send samples directly to the forensic science laboratory. So now they will have to be involved. Otherwise they were challenging that this is our area. Now they are getting involved, they are requesting, please analyze this sample, and then we are giving the results, we are sharing the results with those departments. So then we have procured the drug detection kit, very simple, it is like point of care test, multi-drug one-step screen test panel, and we are using urine sample to analyze the drug of abuse. Then we have developed the formats for reporting and documentation. Then recently we have started chemical test for sulfas also, because sulfas poisoning is very common in that particular area nearby Bhopal. Then we are giving the report in that form. So the report is prepared by, reviewed by, and verified by. So quality control is there. So we have started the test. We are documenting, and we are maintaining the quality control. That is the crucial thing. Otherwise, anybody can challenge. So here, so far, we have not got any challenge. Then we have started discussions with other departments involving Department of Pharmacology, Medicine, Psychiatry, then anesthesia, pathology. So we are leading in the academic discussions for toxicology cases, and they are also involved. So now they are knowing that toxicology is the area of forensic people, and we will have to support them. Otherwise, they were resisting. So now we are taking help of them, and we are leading. So we are inching towards to become fully functional toxicology lab. So conclusion is the setting of toxicology lab needs meticulous planning in a step-wise manner. If we think that we can do it one go, then it is our mistake. To make it as a reality, but of course it needs resources and involvement of other specialty for better management and coordination and overall growth. And now we need to think beyond the traditional poisons and forensic toxicology lab into drugs, because we are getting a lot of calls which are related to therapeutic drugs. So until unless you do not help them, the clinical departments will not get involved. So we need to extend our approach to the drugs as well, and we will have to develop it as a core facility lab in which other departments are also getting involved, and they are also using the toxicology lab. So if you wish to reach the highest, begin at the lowest, and then of course you can reach up to the highest. So these are my references. This is review article which I have written in 2019 when I was proposing for toxicology lab, and I got the answer, kya karoge? So then we got discouraged. Then again in 2020 we started with the PIC from the base, and now we are moving upward. So this is our experience at AIIMS so far. Thank you very much.
The chairpersons are